What up, Hope Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. I was like,
spirit fingers.
I'm here with my husband. Hello, husband.
I'm a winner.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. I'm Victorious, my wife. How are you doing this morning?
So I told my husband we would play rock, paper, scissors to determine who got the Casual Geographic versus who got the Tier Zoo video.
Mm-hmm. And apparently she was joking. Only after she lost.
It was a very offhanded comment. And then this morning when I come in to shoot vids, my husband's like, so we're playing rock, paper, scissors?
Scissors. Paper.
So anyway, I lost in embarrassing fashion.
Yeah.
And my husband is being kind enough to not make me have to play again to get the Tier Z video.
Yeah, I should have just took both vids.
No, because he would just, my husband cheats at rock, paper, scissors.
It's not cheating.
He cheats. And
if you want to play, I'm always down. See me next vid. I'll shoot like a meme vid. We'll play a couple rounds. So our Rhinos OP is the Tier Zoo vid video for today.
Yeah.
The last time was a gazelle thing, not a dick.
It was dick. It was America's secret top tier animal.
Yes.
And it was
they were getting owned by barbed wire fences.
Because they can't jump.
Yeah, they just run real fast. They're faster than cheetahs.
It was a creature with horns.
Mm-hmm. Little cute fluffy tails.
I can't remember the name.
Alrighty. Well,
it's escaping me. But today we're here for our Rhinos. Our Rhinos. OP. Oh my God. I was like, what's that word that I just said, or phrase I just said 3 times fast in Casual Geographic?
Ace.
You'll see.
Thank you, Litus. How's that? How do you say it?
That's not it.
That's how you spell it, though.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Anywhoozins, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized.
Both of those things.
I'm excited to learn about rhinos. I'm gonna go with their tank stats are super fucking high.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with solid B tier for rhinos.
I remember like the white rhino was significantly like on the endangered list for like a really long time.
I think it did go extinct, right? Or that was the black rhino.
Black rhinos, I think, whichever ones. But I say C tier. Like if you can't get yourself out with conservation efforts, you're probably not doing so well.
Right.
So they're blind. Like they're dope. They're still around, but they can't see.
That's also part of why I picked B.
Yeah.
B is for blind.
Blind. We got to tell that story about that rhino at the zoo that we saw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm super excited to see what this video has in store for us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Oh.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
Oh my God.
The Rhinoceros is one of the most formidable builds in the game.
Unicorn.
Though they may not be the largest, fastest, or smartest builds in the current meta,
Sure not.
they're undoubtedly top 5 when it comes to raw power and defense.
Yeah.
Their most iconic feature, their massive, fearsome horn,
Yep.
has a wide variety of uses, both in and out of combat. This, combined with the Rhino's other special abilities, make it seem like an overpowered top-tier build. But Rhinos have some less obvious weaknesses that might change the equation a bit. In today's video, we'll go over all of the pros and cons to determine.
All right.
So first, let's take an in-depth look at the Rhinoceros's unique traits and special abilities, starting of course with its horn. The Rhino's horn is one of the most powerful weapons, not just in the current meta, but in the entire history of the game.
Yeah.
While not all of the variants of the Rhino build invest heavily into the horn skill tree, some rhinos, particularly the white rhino, have horns which can get up to 5 feet long.
God damn!
With the full force of a charging behemoth behind it, this horn can easily one-hit any player unfortunate enough to get caught at the other end.
What? Is that a warthog?
I don't know, but he's dead now.
What's that song in Lion King? Something, warthog. How's it go?
Are you talking about Hakuna Matata? I cannot talk today.
Are you all right? What the hell was that? I was just waiting to figure out where we were going. Hakuna Matata? Hakuna
Matata?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Yeah, I think it's in Hakuna Matata, and Pumbaa's talking about being a warthog.
How does it go?
When I was a young warthog.
That's all I wanted from you. You gotta just sing it. I had to
talk my way through it.
I ain't want to talk and sing. Sing. Anyways, that's what he was saying, was just flying through the air.
This length gives Rhino players a massive forward threat range that other players can often underestimate.
He's trying to battle
especially when factoring in the Rhino's surprisingly high speed stat. With a top speed of roughly 30 miles per hour, they often catch careless players off guard with how quickly that giant horn can get within spearing distance. Now, oftentimes, one of the main weaknesses of this sort of playstyle, i.e. the kind of build with a large, powerful skull-mounted weapon, is that if an opponent is able to get inside of your optimal threat range, either by dodging your first attack and punishing the end leg, or by approaching from a difficult-to-defend angle, you may have little left in terms of defenses and might just be out of options to fight off the attack. This is not the case with the Rhino, because the Rhino has the best defense stats of any build in its weight class. It has extremely thick skin, which is packed full of fibrous material, making it highly resistant to piercing damage.
Literally armor.
All my guys struggling with your muffin top, you let them know that's fibrous material to defend off attacks. You know what I'm saying? We showing up in 2023 defending ourselves.
Yeah.
All right?
In addition to allowing Rhinos to spar with each other without risking an instant game over, this also allows Rhinos to shrug off attacks from literally any predator build, from the crushing bite of a hyena to the razor blade-like swipe of a tiger's claws. Rhinos aren't completely invincible, they're not bulletproof, and can't tank hits forever, but they've got a lot more room for mistakes than most builds. With all that being said, the Rhinoceros does have plenty of weaknesses. The first of which is their extremely poor eyesight.
Like he was talking about.
Is the only thing I know, because they are super fast, they're super big, they have really dense heads, like they're slamming their heads into stuff and generally doing okay with it.
Right.
But they don't know where they're going.
Like you.
That's what I'm saying.
You blind as hell.
They put me on the football field, they throw the ball at me, and I just guess.
Here, take your glasses off.
You got it.
I'm taking my glasses off.
Yeah.
What do you see on my face?
I can see you this close.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm nearsighted. Okay, like a rhino. You're immediately more blurry. Immediately more blurry.
This is not that much farther.
Like, the reason we got such a big screen here is like, if I don't have my glasses, I can still see it. If you put it in that corner, I would not be able to see it. You know?
You're so blind.
I'm saying, you come at me, bro. Come at me. Please come at me. I can't see you, bro.
Rhinos have eyes on the side of their head, which is meant to give them a wide field of view at the cost of binocular vision, aka the ability to judge the distance to another player or object in 3D space. However, a Rhino's vision is so poor that it can only detect basic shapes past roughly 10 yards.
I feel that, bro.
Meaning they cannot detect other players if they remain motionless. And what you get is a Rhino which can see all of the movement around itself, but is unable to quickly gauge whether or not that movement represents a threat. And so you'll commonly see Rhino mains getting stressed out and startled by the simplest of things. And also Rhinos which attack anything that moves on sight. This, of course, is highly exploitable. Any stealth-based build will have an easy time concealing its presence from a Rhino until it wants to make a move. But this vulnerability is also easily exploited by intelligence-based builds, such as the human or the elephant. By tactically using items or team strategies, high intelligence builds can easily distract or kite a rhinoceros into doing exactly what they wanted. Whether it be to force a rhino to retreat from a fight that it could have won, or bait the rhinoceros into a trap. This lack of ability to discern friend from foe means the rhino's potential allies may not be willing to allow a rhino to join their party, since the rhino may accidentally target a party member with an attack if it feels threatened. Thankfully, there is one build which does make for a willing and effective team combo with the rhino, and that is the oxpecker. Oxpecker birds provide their allies with a low-grade parasite resistance buff, which is an important perk given how OP the tick build is in the current meta. But more importantly for the rhino, the oxpecker can essentially function as the allies' third eye, watching their party members back and alerting them of any approaching enemies. And because the oxpeckers are so small and agile, they're not really at risk of being attacked by an overly aggressive rhino.
So, when I was younger, I don't remember specifics, so don't ask me.
Okay, I will find a question that you can't answer.
There's a lot, okay? But when I was younger, there were these freaking videos like animated videos. I don't remember the source or anything.
Yeah.
But they were like of animals, and the animals would like sing about what they do. And so there was a video about there was one about bats, and the girl went, echo, echo, echolocation, I find my way, I find my prey. Anyway, there was one about...
That's so fucking bad. I find my way, I find my prey.
But there was one about the bird and the rhino. And the rhino had like a big deep voice, and then the bird had like a little light voice, and they talked about living in symbiotic harmony. Anyway.
You were a kid watching a song, and part of the line was symbiotic harmony.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's my shit right there.
I think about it like on an almost daily basis.
Oh, so this is very personal for you.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Anyway, if you know the videos that I'm talking about, please comment below.
Oh, yeah, I would love to see
So my
them.
husband doesn't think I'm crazy.
I would love to see these.
And I didn't make these up. They existed.
Yeah, that sounds like a fever dream. Like you had the flu, and then you just made the rest of this up.
No, they were real.
All right, let's check it out. If we can find those, man, I'd love to.
Now, although rhinos can dish out some of the highest damage in the entire game to anything unlucky enough to be caught in front of their giant horns, another major weakness of theirs is their inability to threaten players approaching from behind them. Most herbivore builds, even those with equally impressive horns, make sure they spec into a powerful kick to ensure that they don't just automatically lose to any aggressor that manages to get behind them. A rhino's legs are not tall enough nor fast enough to threaten a powerful kick. And so when a rhino gets surrounded, its only option is to tank quite a few hits. Now, of course, their thick armor does immensely help in this situation. But no armor in this game is completely impervious, and given enough time, a persistent predator can still deal damage, even to a heavily armored rhinoceros. This weakness is made worse by the fact that the rhino, like all mammals, has a weak point on its hindquarters, called the perineum. Taking damage to this area can inflict a serious blood loss debuff, which can be enough to bring down even the rhino.
Oh my god.
Normally, it's the job of a player's teammates to guard their backside like this. But given the rhino's propensity for friendly fire, they can't always count on having allies that are willing to help. Unfortunately, as helpful as the oxpecker birds are, they aren't likely to try and challenge a lion in the middle of an ambush. So there's definitely quite a few downsides that come with playing this powerhouse of a build. There's also some variation within the Rhino faction, allowing for players to optimize for their desired playstyle. If you just want to max out on your attack damage, you'll want to play as the White Rhino, which sports the most powerful horn and largest size. If you care more about mobility and armor, you can opt for the Indian Rhino, which is smaller and only has a single horn, but has better mobility both on land and in the water, and is also the more heavily armored of the two. Next, let's talk about individual matchups. First, big cats. Rhinos have essentially nothing to fear from the felid build. Sharp as their claws might be, they simply aren't powerful enough to penetrate a rhino's armor. Big cats...
And you know, he spent so much time sneaking over there.
Yeah, bro, he was talking with his friends like, all right, here we go.
We're doing this. And then he got up there, but what are we doing? I had all this time to think, and yet I have not come up with a solution.
I'm dead.
With a strangling bite to the throat. And there's basically zero chance of this attack strategy working against a rhino. Especially seeing as any attempt at this would put them right in range of the rhino's primary attack. Next, elephants. Rhinos are one of the few builds which actually can genuinely threaten serious damage against an elephant. Elephants don't have anywhere near as much armor as a rhino. So even a direct 1v1, the rhino's horn is likely to out-damage the elephant's tusks if the rhino can manage to get within range. Unfortunately, the elephant has two major advantages over the rhino. The first is its range. The elephant's tusks outrange the rhino's horn, so even though the elephant's DPS is lower than the rhino's, the elephant's tusks can push the rhino out of range and prevent it from being able to put its horn to work. The second advantage is its intelligence. Elephants are especially adept at exploiting the rhino's lower intelligence and poor eyesight. By throwing objects towards a rhino, elephants can easily induce the frightened status condition in a rhino, causing the rhino to forfeit a fight it potentially could have stood a solid chance in had it held its ground.
So it's literally that story about like the mouse and the elephant Right, how like a mice stands up to an elephant, the elephant runs away.
Right.
But they really just saw a rhinoceros and were just confused.
Yeah.
The elephant was like, I'll never let this happen to me. It's like dork of a cousin over there, the rhino.
To be fair, it's not the worst indictment to have a losing matchup against an elephant. Hardly anything has a favorable matchup against them.
Good lord.
But it's unfortunate that if the rhino didn't have these weaknesses, it actually would have a solid matchup against the elephant, despite the size difference. Next, the hippopotamus. Hippos and rhinos are very similar in terms of their base stats. They're very similar in size, roughly equivalent in their base movement speed, and each can dish out incredible damage.
That's horrifying.
The hippo has higher base HP, but significantly less armor. This is by far the most even matchup on this list.
Interesting.
And a confrontation can easily go either way.
So what's
the
left?
rhino's susceptibility to intimidation does cause it to sometimes back down from fights it probably could win, but there are also plenty of cases of overly aggressive hippos getting hard punished for approaching too carelessly.
That is unfortunate.
Hyenas. As mentioned before, although the rhino does have excellent armor, the only predator that even realistically has a shot at inflicting damage to them would be the hyena, which packs one of the strongest bite forces of anything a rhino could ever encounter. Second only to the crocodile. It's still extremely rare for a pack of hyenas to bring down a rhino, but by persistently chipping away at the rhino's rear weak point, it can happen. The rhino has a solid matchup.
It gives a whole new meaning to pain in the ass.
So we have like different tiers of creators, you know? Tiers who always tiptoes around those topics. Casual Geographic creatively describes them in gruesome detail. And Zafrank just says shit slurry. Like he just has no problem.
Yes, absolutely.
You're like, this is a camera inside the shit slurry. That's a tail shitting and slurrying. And that's a guy eating where the guy's shitting and slurrying. You know?
Oh my God.
So these are great ranges here. And we're kind of messed up because I don't change how I talk based on each video. I just aggregate all the data. I watch Zafrank and think of video game stats. I watch Tier Zoo and think of like
shit slurries.
Shit slurries.
It's like Tier Zoo's like PG, maybe a little PG-13.
Definitely 13. Did you not see all the violence in this video? The little baby rhinoceroses getting yeeted out of the stage. They
murdered Mufasa and rated that shit G. So PG, maybe PG-13. Casual Geographic is like firmly in the PG-13.
Right.
Firmly. You know, like it's PG-13, but really teenager, like kids should not be watching it.
If the FCC got involved, it would be some episodes rated R for sure.
And then freaking Zafrank is NC-17. XXX adult.
Did you want to see the vagina? If it's too late, we're inside of it.
Despite all of their incredible advantages, still end up taking a lot more L's than they should due to their heavily exploitable weaknesses. Although they're able to tank a lot of hits as an adult, their low intelligence stat allows enemy players to kite protective parents away from the low-level rhinos they were guarding, whether that be through distraction, intimidation, or team tactics. And with a respawn time of almost a year and a half, every defeat hits the Rhino player base exceptionally hard. The Rhino build is quite powerful, but I actually think it's a bit over-invested in its combat stats at the cost of its own efficiency. This is likely because the Rhino build was originally meant for much colder climates, where larger size was also simply an efficient design choice to provide the player with a cold resistance buff. During the Ice Age, the ancient variants of the Rhino, such as the woolly rhinoceros, absolutely needed this extra bulk in order to fight off powerful threats like the short-faced bear and cave hyena. But with the largest threat to rhinos in the modern day being the tiger, rhinos don't really need this much physical force to be competitively viable. There also used to be a lot more variety to the rhinoceros player base. Paraceratherium was the largest terrestrial mammal build ever seen in the game, and essentially functioned as a mammalian sauropod. And yet for some reason, the tall grazer niche is dominated by the giraffe instead of a variant of the rhinoceros, even though a Paraceratherium could easily win a 1v1 against the giraffe. This may be a bit controversial, but taking into account their many weaknesses and seeing how out of place they are in the current meta compared to the Ice Age, I'm going to place the rhinoceros into D tier, low intelligence.
My lord. Bro, I was going, he's been going harder than usual, so I went C tier. right?
I went B tier because I was like, well, they're obviously not S or A tier.
Because what's out here eating rhinoceroses?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but he didn't even talk about the fact that there were some that went extinct and all that kind of stuff, that their reproductive challenges didn't even seem like it had much of a dealing in the ranking.
Right.
But D tier? Ain't nobody out here really eating them like that.
Okay, I feel like you should maybe revisit this.
I demand a recount.
Yeah, stop the count.
I want you to go through, give me like one of them get like, you know, new game plus for, you know what I'm saying? Tier Zoo, and go through the patch notes. You know what I'm saying? Because every other company, if we can hold Blizzard accountable for their patch notes, we should be able to hold you accountable for your patch notes. I want to see the HR disclosure notices, and I want to see the design choices.
Oh my God.
Pull the developers out and have the conversation. Because D tier's crazy. First you came from our cheetah. You came for our cheetah. Now you're doing this. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're pulling out the American gazelle shits, and that's a fucking A tier. I need to talk to you about this.
Because you just told us that they're even with a hippo.
Even with hippos.
They're even with hippos.
He said it, not me.
Like...
He literally went through the list, be like, ain't nobody really fucking with him like that.
Right.
And the ones that do literally eat ass.
They don't have...
You know what I'm saying?
They don't have nothing in the unlosable category. How does that put them in D tier?
They self-nerf. If you self-nerf, but you still make it, you don't lose tier points. You're a mastermind in design. You know what I'm saying? I made myself blind. I made myself stupid. And ain't nobody fucking with me. I'm just bliss out here. Chilling.
God. No, I don't. I'm not.
You're rejecting that?
I reject that. You know.
Great.
I have a lot of respect for Tier Zoo.
Of course, yeah, sure.
The videos are always spot on.
No
They're
problem
always
with that.
well put together,
Of course
perfectly edited. The music is always on point.
And he makes them viewer friendly. You know, you watch it, you learn something. I'm not a part of the, you know, gang of animal scientists, but I feel akin to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd walk down their block.
He makes the information very accessible.
Yes.
I do feel like Tier Zoo overvalues intelligence because I know a lot of stupid ass people that are very far in life, and you know what comes with intelligence? Depression.
Well, they stressed out anyways. To be fair, they stressed out regardless, even though they kind of.
But you know what? Rhinos can find a reason to get out of bed every day, and you know who can't do that? Me.
You know, there's a rhino we saw at the zoo, and to really bring down the point of how kind of dumb they are, simple rather.
Yes.
Because you can use the word simple.
I think they're simple.
Transpose some situations, but they were talking about its routine. You know. Yeah. And part of its routine is where it stands in the pen every day.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, she gets up and she stands there. But if you want to see her in like 30 minutes, you have to go to the other side because you can't see her from this side.
Yeah, because she won't stand there.
She'll go eat for a little bit, then she'll go stand on the other side for a couple hours. So that's where you got to go. You know, so I feel like with that kind of routine necessary, you know, I was kind of thinking environmental changes would also be very challenging for them.
Right.
Because they become very stubborn. You know, and like they were talking about how that rhinoceros, like if we don't feed her at a certain time, she'll be sad the rest of the day.
Yeah, but she won't eat.
She won't eat. We have to start tomorrow anew.
Yep.
You know, so I think that's a very interesting dynamic that he didn't really get into. But I wonder how changes in the environment actually affect them as like individuals, like unable to adapt almost.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking about their intelligence. You know, they can't really. They don't want the change, they'll just fucking die. I don't care, I'm not eating today. Are they self-aware? Like, that's always a question I wonder.
Oh, I don't actually, I didn't get into, like he said they were dumb, but are they like not self-aware dumb?
I don't think rhinos know they're rhinos. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they would look at themselves and go, oh, that's me, you know?
Right.
Yeah, like, you know, they did the test with the elephant. I think it was the Frank video we watched where they put like a X on their cheek and they were like rubbing at it, you know?
Like, what the fuck is
this? It's on me. I don't think a rhino would do that. He would kill it.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comments below. And other than that, peace out. What?
Other than that.
You said it so fast, it sounded like you said no.
Other than that.
Other than that, peace out. Hope it's skit lit.